be a hypocrite and kind of give him advice. I tried to tell him to go in the Air Force after I did my Army stuff, but he didn't listen when in the Army anyway. He's actually at Fort Hood, Texas right now. He's on his third year. He did his first deployment to Iraq, came back last February, and he's about to turn 21. So I found out on this walk that my son has been impacted by PTSD and things like that. He has sleepless nights now. He didn't tell me that himself, but my youngest son told me that. So as I've been walking, this walk has gotten personal to me, more personal than it already has been, because I have lots of friends, that deal with a lot of the issues that veterans are plagued with every single day. I started this walk because of one situation, one story. I did a post on social media, and a female veteran reached out to me who was dealing with military sexual trauma, and also got injured prior to leaving the Army, got addicted to Oxycontin, got out, she lost her kids, she lost her family, she basically lost everything she had, and got mixed up in the criminal justice system and went into vet court. And while she was in vet court, she was in the county treatment facility, and there was nobody there that understood how to treat a veteran. And so I asked these questions in front of a judge and the treatment staff. I said, why are you not letting her go to the VA? She has a rating system. She's able to do so. It's in your bylaws. Why are you blocking this? It turned out to be a funding issue. The county facility didn't want to lose somebody to the VA because they wanted dollars, So cut a long story short, I pushed, and she was able to do so. She went to the VA, and today she's doing wonderful. She's got her kids, she's got a job, she's got a place to live, and things are thriving for her. But it made me dig deeper. And so I started seeing other veterans being plagued by some of the same issues. And so I was like, you know what, I need to do something about this. I always feel, if you're serving, you need to help those who have served. And so I reached out to Jo Coleman, which is the founder of Buddy Watch Incorporated. Her son, being a veteran, she got into VA clinical treatment as a counselor to help understand what was plaguing her son. And she's trying to do a project to build tiny homes for homeless veterans off of Fort Stewart, Georgia. And so I was like, hey, Joe, I said, I'm going to do this. I want to raise awareness to the issues that veterans are dealing with. I reached out to 3 gentlemen who made this walk for us, and I asked them, I said, what could I do differently that maybe you didn't do, or maybe something you wish you could have done? It's too late now, And they were like, social media. They were all older guys. They didn't understand social media. So I was like, well, I do marketing, so let's do this, And so I went right to work on social media. I really wanted to reach out to as many people as possible, as many communities as possible. But when I started the walk, I kind of had that, well, I want to get this done. I want to walk across the country as fast as I can. I want to, help Jo Coleman build tiny homes for homeless veterans. But I also want to, I kind of want to, so I started out with a 90-day time frame. I wanted to walk across the country in 90 days. Being an infantry guy, I thought I could do it. I'm glad I changed that. But I got to Alabama, and I was sitting in a VFW, and there was a gentleman there, infantry guy, fellow infantry guy, Vietnam veteran, and he was really quiet, not really talking. And I asked the bartender, I said, is he okay? And she's like, oh, he does that all the time. He comes in, he has his 3 drinks, stays to himself, and he leaves. Well, he must have saw my bag or my cross rifles on my shirt. He come up and he asked me about what it is I was doing, why I was doing it. And I told him, and immediately he broke down. A 70-year-old man breaking down to a 40-year-old guy. And it kind of changed something in me. I mean, he told me everything. His entire experience serving, his entire experience being a veteran. Between getting spit on in the face, not being accepted, having trouble finding jobs, dealing with what wasn't then PTSD, what it is now, his entire life, and then only receiving benefits 8 years prior to that conversation. So how many years did this guy struggle, with his own demons, and So it changed my whole outlook on this walk. I was like, you know what, it's not about the steps, it's not about the miles, it's not even about walking, it's not about that. It's about reaching out to communities, talking to people, talking to veterans, talking to city officials. I haven't had too many higher state, federal elected officials come out, but to me that doesn't matter. You know, if I can talk to communities, mayors, you know, sheriff's department, police department, these messages all get conveyed, and communities and the people within. We've met several Gold Star families along this route, and you know, it's really pushed me and Jimmy. And you know, I know it was a horrible sacrifice made, but the good that is coming out of it, and the families that we have talked to, they are constantly pushing for things to change amongst our veterans. So we're thankful for that, you know, and we're thankful just to have met you and to come through here and hear your story and to share your story. It means everything to us. But you know, we're walking to Santa Monica, California. We'll be there May 8th. It's the day World War II ended. It's also the day the wall run begins. And we're not done. We're going to continue doing what we do as much as we can do. We have another walk planned for March 25th, 2021, from Normandy, France to Berlin, Germany, to honor World War II veterans, our allies to include that. And we're going to turn this into a foundation to actually help veterans, not grow a huge overhead to where a little bit of the money coming in is, you know, going to the veteran, and a lot of it is going to expenses. We want to kind of change that. And Jimmy, I'll let Jimmy talk, but you know, why he joined up with me, because we didn't know each other going into all this. Jimmy reached out to me at the almost at the beginning of the walk, and you know, it really meant a lot to me to have him with me, because I don't deal with a lot of the issues I'm walking for, but he has. So I'll let him talk about that. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for your hospitality. We had definitely one of the best welcomings yesterday coming into town, so thank you for that, and it's just a pleasure to be here.
I went in the Army, 19 kilo armor, in 1994, right after, a few months out of high school. First duty station was Germany. Went to Germany. From there, I deployed to Bosnia. Went to Bosnia for 9 months. It wasn't combat, but seeing the things that I saw with the peacekeeping part, as far as when the Bosnians came back into their villages, you know, kids and even just every regular citizens maybe stepping on landmines and stuff like that, so they would bring them up to the gates, and you know, with limbs and stuff missing. So that's an 18-year-old kid witnessing my first traumatic experience. We finished that 9-month experience deployment. We went back to Germany, and I deployed to. Second duty station was Fort Stewart, Georgia, and my story kind of connects, like we were telling you yesterday. Everything connects. Georgia, Third ID, the place where we're trying to build a tiny home. So I was there for 2 years. Within that 2 years, I deployed to Kuwait for the first time to conduct some training for 4 months. That was during the time Saddam Hussein was acting kind of crazy, so we kind of went over there, did some deterrent training to a show of force, if you can say, if you know, pretty much a show of force, until we started building up. Redeployed from there, finished up my time at Fort Stewart, Georgia, and then I went to Korea for a year. So there in Korea, we were just being on alert a lot for that, where the North Koreans and South Korea had that tension. So I didn't get a chance to, you know, pretty much see the country, but I was on alert a lot. So nothing really happened there. Finished that year up, went to Fort Benning, Georgia, 2000, I think in 2000. I was part of 3rd ID again, but I was in the 3rd Brigade. So We went to deployed to Kuwait for 9 months, conducting training. Same thing, a shore force. That's when the United States was building forces then, because I guess they knew that we were going to go to war. So stayed in Kuwait, did like every type of training you guys can think of, day, night, during sandstorms, in full chemical gear. So they wanted to make sure that we were ready. They redeployed us back home for I think a couple months, see our families, and 2003, January, went back, and then about 2 months, took us out to the desert, and sat there, and I think President Bush gave like the 48 hours notice. This is hard because just connecting too much. So we got the word, went across the border, and we was like the lead brigade in the fight. And then we passed through Nazareth, and we got a call that we were got that the unit that her brother was in had made a wrong turn. They went and they got captured. So they were gonna send us to go in there and try to rescue him. But like I told her yesterday, I think they changed their mind and did the special forces because they needed to get in there quick. And we were on tanks, so that's how that went. And when I met them yesterday, and they told us about it in, I think, Odessa. And I just, something just came over me like, man, I just really need to meet him. So I met him yesterday. So I'm gonna gather myself. That's just real touching to me because I was there, it just kind of wish they would have sent us because we were right there at the time. So, but you never know, I don't know what, but I just know the pain that they're going through. So we went to Baghdad. We finished the war, and then we redeployed. I think I stayed there like 7 months. So we get back to Georgia, and then you train up again, like another year, 2004. You train. I went to school, and then I went back to Iraq, 2005. So everything from RPG, IED, small arms fire. I think like we was about to get replaced. Like 5 days before I was getting ready to go back, I got hit with an IED. Like 5 days before you get ready to go home, the truck was like totally destroyed. But we survived. Everybody survived by the grace of God. So I understand what you guys have seen. It's I don't know. I guess I was just blessed to still be here. So saw that, and like I said, 6 days later I went back home, and then I went to California. They stationed me in California. I was at NTC, so they sent me to train people that was going to combat. So you still just, you can't get out of your head. You train people to go to combat, and you just come from combat because you're the most experienced guy. You just left the country. So I did that for 2 years. Just seeing just like the Vietnam vet that we talked to, you train them off to go, and then you watch the news and they're coming back in caskets. So these are little kids, you've been a kid, you have kids, and it's like like the guy was telling us the other day that went to Vietnam, it's like a assembly line. You're sending them, they're coming back, you send them, they're coming back. So I did that for 2 years. And then I went back to Georgia. They sent me back. Well, actually, I asked to go back because it's just something about
just being a part of a group that you love and miss. So I went back to Georgia 2008, and I redeployed to Iraq again in 2009, like another year. So I was in a higher position, so I didn't really go out and like was the ground troop. I was inside the top operations center, like working. But at that time I was flying everywhere with the colonel, so I had to worry about getting shot out the air. I didn't have to worry about nothing on the ground, but I'm now worried about getting shot out the air. So, and the rockets coming into the FOB. So, thank God, made it out of there a year. And then I just jumped from like unit to unit. Within that little time frame, I went to Kuwait again. I redeployed, and I did that for 9 months. Finished that up, came back, and I told Branch, the people that put you on orders, I was like, hey, I need a break. So he sent me to Hawaii, so I was happy. Because tankers don't go to Hawaii at the time. They sent me to an operations. So, and my mind was idle. So the idle mind is the devil's playground. So that's what my PTSD was just killing me slowly. But I fought through it, and I had to find something that was a coping mechanism for me. So I started doing like t-shirts and stuff, so to keep my mind busy, keep me busy. And I did 3 years of Hawaii, and then I got selected to attend Sergeant Major's Academy in Fort Bliss, Texas. So I was there for 2 years. But I didn't want to go because I just knew, it wasn't fun anymore, and I just wanted to retire. So I did it because, my friends were like, hey man, you made it. You're at the last stop of your career, so you might as well just keep going. So I just couldn't do it. Just mentally, I couldn't do it. So I just started going to get help, behavior help, and I retired, medically retired for PTSD and everything else that's hurting this ailing body. November, this past November, I retired. So I used to drive through here. I remember seeing Pecos, the sign, and so I know the area, but I guess I got gas and Van Horn and just kept going.
Wouldn't stop.
I can't remember if I stopped. I just remember the spur of the route and the sign of your entering Pecos, and I kept going. So I was driving, but I never thought I'd be walking through here. So
It's not summer.
I left Bliss September. And I had terminal leave. My terminal leave ended. Well, I went back home to Mississippi. Just wanted to get to a place where, family and friends. And once again, I was idle. So I said I needed something to do. And I was trying to be an advocate for PTSD. So I'm online, like hashtagging, like talking to people, talking to my old soldiers. Just trying to be strong for them because they were still going through the stuff that I was going through. So I ran across John's page and what he was doing, and it's just like my dad wanted me to teach Sunday school, but he's like, you teach, you talk to people all the time, so I know you can do it. So it just didn't, I went to the church, but it just didn't feel like that was my calling. So, but when I saw what John was doing, like something just came over me and said, that's what you're gonna do. So my final day in the Army was November the 14th, and I joined John on the 18th, like 4 days after being out of the military, I reached out to him. I told him I was inspired by what he was doing, and I wanted to join him when he got to Mississippi. And then I said I wanted to do something like this, what I'm doing now, and for my state. So he said, hey, I haven't made it to Mississippi yet. Just, come out and join me. So my intention was to like walk with him through Mississippi, and then I was gonna be like, thanks, I'm good. But like I said, something just told me, to do it. It's like personal. You gotta be a part of this to help others. So pretty much, here I am. And then as we've been talking, never knew John a day of my life, but I never felt like he was a stranger. So when he started telling me about the organization and the organizer and the president, it was all just coming together. So the lady that's he mentioned earlier, who started it, I served with her son, who's battling PTSD right now. I think he's still homeless. To this day, he's still homeless. So I served with him in 2003 in Iraq. So there was no way I could just leave John by himself. So that was one connection. It's been several connections that just told us that I was meant to be here with him on this walk. And then yesterday, meeting you guys, that was a connection as well. Like I was there during your brother and your son's time, and I think that's about it for me. And here I am right now in Pecos, so that's pretty much my story. Sorry for it being having tears and snot all over your floor. But that's my story, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm old guard, right? This is new, and for us that was in Vietnam, we'd go over there maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times. Mostly 3 was pretty much the most you would go over there. Most common was 1 or 2 times and everything. But these guys, come on, 7, 8, 9 times to have to go back continually. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. No wonder so many of the younger guys are coming back really messed up. And I appreciate you. I really do.
It was an honor.
Yeah. And it's an honor meeting you and having you here.
Thank you.
All right?
Glad to be here.
You and your compadre here, and everybody else, it's honor for both of you guys. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody tell these guys thank